Good morning, good morning. Predicted Trades family, hope everybody's doing well. Hope we all had fun yesterday. We got that dip down to squeeze bottoms. Pretty much holding this trend line from lows. You know, we wicked below it, but ultimately kind of bounced in that area and made it back to the daily 15 and the daily 8. Alright, now, ES overnight has been trying to hold that daily 8. A little below it right now. We've got a 30-minute squeeze. That's forming right around our key levels. We have FOMC today as well. I'm not going to pull up the economic calendar. We reviewed it yesterday, but we have FOMC today. So as you guys know, we can get some good morning action, and then it will likely chop until that 2 o'clock when things will wake up. We do have the daily 21 sitting up at 38.65, just above our 38.55 key level. So we're going to be opening between 3800, the daily 15, 3807 to the downside, should we slip outside of this 30-minute squeeze. To the upside, we've got that 3843. I'm sorry. Yeah, 3843, 3855, 3865, where the daily 21 sits. So let's see if ES wants to continue higher up to the 21 before FOMC. And then based on that, we'll see. But yeah, we've got some pretty easy levels and ranges to play off of today. If we start to lose 3800, likely going back to POC at 3773. And our larger time frame, what is this, 4-hour squeeze? Above and below. So, let's see what we get today. I'm going to play that 30-minute squeeze until it breaks. We could be in it until FOMC. NQ. NQ open below that trend line. Made a quick tap of the 4-hour and I believe 2-hour squeeze bottoms before ripping back up. Almost, well, yesterday almost to the daily 21. Overnight, it ran into the daily 21, falling back to the daily 8. So yeah, on NQ, let's see if the daily 8 and this 30-minute squeeze bottom can hold us up and send us back to test the daily 21 live at this 30-minute squeeze top. On NQ at least, it's saying that the 4-hour is firing. So let's see if can hold the daily 8, this key level, 11,677, daily 15, big zone of support. Now that we are above them, they need to turn into support. So let's see if we can hold that daily 8, that squeeze bottom, and get going higher. We are dealing with a small gap down. So let's see if we want to fill that gap and do a live test of the 21. And above that we got psychological 12,000. Oh, they're ready. Almost made it back to the 21. Stuck between the 21 and the 8. Much like in Q. So let's see if it can hold squeeze bottom in the daily 8 to get up to the daily 21 during the cash session. If we lose the daily 8, slipping back to the daily 15. YM was, definitely kind of leading to the downside. We saw in Q had like one or two red candles on this 30-minute, and then it shot up. In Q kind of lingered a little longer down at lows, and then was brought up with the rest of the market. Much like ES, stuck between the daily 8 and daily 15. So let's see if the daily 15 in the squeeze bottom can hold YM up. Send it above the daily 8. And let's see if we can get back to the 21 today. Back at this 4-hour squeeze top. Apple. Our key zone yesterday, that 138, 138.8 was a very good tell on how it moved yesterday. In the first 30 minutes, we reached down to those pre-market lows, almost to that daily 15, and closed the first 30-minute candle above that 138. And then pushed off that 138 to the squeeze top, almost the daily 21. Came back into that zone and took off past the 21. So let's see when Apple opens. I'll be dealing with a small gap down. Come on, toss. I'm going to be opening around that 140, 140 and a half, something like that. The daily 21 will likely be right at about 140. So let's see if it wants to fall back to test that daily 21. And if that can hold it up so that it can get back up through yesterday's high and test this 142. Next key level above is that 144.4. So right now it's mission to try to get back to that. Oh, and the daily 50, which will be pretty close to 145 today. So let's see if the daily 21 can hold Apple up. Send it from 140 up to 144, 145. If we lose 140 in the daily 21, we've got the daily 8, which will likely be close to that 138.8. So yeah, if we lose 140 and the daily 21, we're likely going back to 138 in this whole zone. AMD, chips got a little love yesterday. And everything's got a 30-minute squeeze, so let's see if the 30-minute squeeze bottom can hold AMD up. If I can get back through yesterday and overnight highs in a bit to get back to that daily 8 up above. Close at 75 with a, call it 5-point ATR. It can get back to the daily 8 today. Amazon, nice relative strength yesterday, back over the daily 21. Let's see if this 30-minute squeeze bottom can hold it. Send it through yesterday's highs in a bid to get back to the daily 50, which is likely going to be very close to 115 today. BA. So it started to look a little weak and lose these daily moving averages, but held squeeze bottom, came up with the rest of the market. And now the 2-hour and 4-hour squeezes are getting nice and tight around 140, 134. So yeah, BA likely will be stuck in between these today, and likely stay in between them. We'll see what comes out of FOMC. Cat, relatively weak compared to everything else that moved up yesterday. And we talked about this a little in the room yesterday that, they're not rotating into cat. Likely with recession, looming, they're just not moving into these kinds of names. She'll likely need a catalyst, or we need to get through finance earnings, which are coming next week. So we should be seeing some rotation into finance over the next week or two, as well as some tech names that are relatively strong. Apple, Amazon, relatively strong. Let's take a look at Google. Very strong day. Google basically carried the whole market up with it on its little shoulders. And as we've talked about, this key zone where buyers took it up last time. So, yesterday we tagged that key zone straight up to the daily 50. Google does have the sorry. I see someone in the room posted that Apple may have got a price cut this morning. Let's take a quick look. Apple price target cut to 130 from 157 at Goldman Sachs. Oh. That could be leading to why Apple was dipping so much pre-market. But, end of the day, Goldman Sachs, what do they know? I joke. Anyway, Google has the catalyst of the split. We got this week and next week as the last two before Google splits. So let's see if they want to keep taking it up, get a higher price before split. Right now, it's a mission to 2,400 and these squeeze tops. But let's see if, now that we are above daily moving averages, if they can support us and hold us up to head higher, or if we start to reject them and fall back out. Speaking of Goldman Sachs, you know, some decent rotation into it yesterday from the daily 15 back to the daily 8 and 21. Looks like we're going to be opening a little below those. So let's see if 295 can hold her up, send her through to 300 through these daily 8 and daily 21 to get to squeeze tops. And we do have that daily 50 up at 306, which technically she can make it there today on an ATR. JPM also had some decent rotation from that second Keltner. Pushed her up, not quite to that first Keltner or the moving averages. Not a real interest. This will likely come back to settle in that 110, 112. Unless market starts heading higher. Okay, Facebook. Some decent strength yesterday. So they were rotating into all of XLC, not just Google. So we see some love going the way of Facebook. Let's see if the daily 8 and 15 can provide support if we do get back down to test it. To send Facebook higher back to the daily 21. And the 50 is still way above. If the daily 8 and daily 15 give out on Facebook, if we get back to test those, likely going back to squeeze bottoms south of 160 to 156. Microsoft also decently strong yesterday. Now above the daily 21 and daily 8, which are going to be stacked together right around 260. Let's see if that can hold Microsoft up to send it up to the daily 50, which will be around that 265. Decent rotation into Netflix, back above the 21 and daily 8. Let's see if they can hold it up to get it back above the daily 50. If we start to give those out, back down to the bottom of the squeeze, you know, same story. NVIDIA, some decent rotation into it. Made about a 10-point move from lows to high. Let's see if 30-minute squeeze can hold it up. Even above 148. In a bit to get back above 150 and back to the daily 8 up above. Or if 150 continues to be resistance that we can't get through, we might be coming back to 145. QQQ. Very strong yesterday. I played some of the 278s, 280s, 282s. They all got in the money. I almost picked up the 284s at one point, but either way, QQQ above the daily 8 and 15. They will likely be landing around 285 for the daily 8. Around 282 for the daily 15. So if we give out 285, might be heading back to 282. That's also where this zone that we've had drawn, and I'm going to extend it a little further because that was a helpful, it's been a helpful zone. As you can see, yesterday went long off of that squeeze bottom into that zone and locked up, and then it provided a nice pullback to VWAP off that zone. Then we pushed through it, locked up some more, added some more, that kind of thing. So Let's see if 285 can hold up QQQ and this 30-minute squeeze bottom. If we start to lose that 285, likely going right back to 282, where the daily 15 will be sitting with this zone. If the daily 8 can hold us up, and we can get going to the upside to fill this gap, the daily 21 will be around that 288. And the daily 50 is still way above, so. So let's see if 285 can send us up to 290, or if we lose 285 and head back. Roku, decent rotation into her, about 10 points from low to, actually more, about 13 points from low to high yesterday, so decent move there. Maybe even a little bit better relative strength than Netflix. Got back to the daily 50 and starting to slip at pre-market, so let's see if we dip down to the daily 21 and daily 8. Back down at 88, 89. If we can hold that, get back through the daily 50. Yeah, it'd be a push to try to get to the first Keltner up here at around 96. Snow still doing silly things, relative strength-wise. She's been holding the daily 8 and pushing off of it. And the daily 50 nicely above the daily 50. So let's see if Snow wants to keep trekking. Already above first, Keltner almost to the second. Let's see if she wants to trek up to this, what I'm assuming is a 2-day squeeze top. That third Keltner before taking a break. But man, this thing is moving. If it starts to give out this high from yesterday, this 152.8, we'll call it. If it starts to lose that, might head back to 150, 148 for a retest. SPX had that gap down, but once things settled, she took off to come back and fill the gap. And frankly, it's the same gap we've been dealing with for a few days. Like, I didn't even mark this because we came back and basically filled it. And this is the same as from back here, so didn't even really mark the previous gap because it was basically the same. So yesterday fully filled that gap. We will be doing with a little gap down on SPX, but should still be above 3,800. So let's see if it wants to take a quick dip to tap the daily 15 before heading up through the daily 8 to fill the gap, back through where we closed, in a bid to get back to this 4-hour squeeze top at 38.60 in the daily 21, which is going to be around 38.65. So let's see if SPX can get all the way to the mean before FOMC. SPY. That 374 was very key yesterday, and as you can see, it's been allowing us to bounce for a couple of days. Pushed off of it nicely yesterday. And yeah, if market can't continue to push up, you can bet that it's likely going to fall back to that 374. if things look weak today and they take it back down on FOMC or whatever. But for now, 30-minute squeeze. Let's see if 380 can hold up SPY, send it back to fill the gap, and to try to get to a 385, where the daily 21 is likely going to be falling. If we lose that 30-minute squeeze bottom, that 380, we can potentially fall back 377, 374, 5, right? Tesla dipped straight down to our key zone. That's 654.57, where it closed both candles right at that 654 before pushing off of that and heading back to 700 at the squeeze top, dealing with that small gap down. Let's see if it gets back to test 700. We do have a large 4-hour squeeze at 700 that will likely be hard to get through. And yeah, if we give out 690, likely go into 681. If that gives out, we can head on back. And VIX. VIX was a pretty clean read yesterday. It popped up quickly near 30 and near squeeze tops and then gave out, falling all the way back to that 27.5. Gapping up while the market gaps down. Going to be opening near 28. But let's see if it wants to push off 28 and the daily 8, which are kind of overlapping, in a bit to get back to the 21, daily 21 at 28.34. If it gets through that, 28.8, 29, 29.2, all targets that we can get back to tap and test. If we can stay below 28, stay below the daily 21, and the market head higher, VIX could come down to retest yesterday's low, this 27.5, ultimately trying to get it back down to 27 and squeeze bottoms. So hopefully this is helpful for everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Wanted to knock this out early. So good luck today, and we'll see you in the room.